I see a lot of you making a big mistake at the top of the overhead press. And today, we're going to fix it. I'm going to give you a mental cue that helps improve your upper body strength by forcing you to squeeze every ounce of benefit out of your shoulder press, while also making it safer, more stable, and more powerful. Hey, Gray Steel Nation, Sully here with the Barbell Prescription. You know that the overhead press is an amazing exercise for building strong, healthy shoulders. And it's one of the best shoulder mobility exercises there is. But check it out. The overhead press is also a total body exercise, even when it's performed without a dynamic body movement. The legs must support the entire system. The abdominals and paraspinal muscles are required for effective force transmission and stability. And the huge trapezius muscles are essential to rotate the scapulae, to prevent shoulder impingement, and to actually support the weight of the bar overhead. Not to mention all the muscles that actually move the bar, the deltoids, the pectorals, and of course those triceps. This is a vast volume of muscle tissue, working to support the bar over a long range of motion and to stabilize a very extensive moment around the foot when the bar is locked out at the top. The rewards, accordingly, extend well beyond the deltoids, the triceps, and the traps, and include benefits to the legs, the glutes, the abs, and the upper back. At lockout, the entire body is fused into a colossal isometric contraction that perches a huge weight at a glorious height. The lifter is in a strong, beautiful X-shaped configuration, like an oak tree with mighty roots holding a bar high and still in thick, unyielding branches. Or at least, that's what's supposed to happen. Is that how it's going with you? Let us know in the comments how things are going with your press, and give us a like while you're at it. Now lately, while critically evaluating my own overhead work, and that of some of my clients, and mini and overhead press on the interwebs, I've become hypersensitive to a particular form error and made it my new pet peeve. A shoulder press afflicted by this particular error may appear successful or even impressive to superficial inspection. But on a closer look, it will be incomplete, leaving much of the benefit of the exercise unrealized and perhaps even predisposing to a rare injury or misadventure. Let's explore this problem just a little bit before we fix it. And it's instructive to consider another critical strength exercise for healthy aging, the deadlift. Now, at the top of the deadlift, a heavy bar cannot be held in stable lockout unless the entire system is in compression, without crumple zones that can be exploited by gravity. If the knees or the hips are soft, any significant weight will work on the lifter at that point, and the bar will come back down. At the very least, the lockout will be almost as much of a struggle as the lift itself, and a coach or a judge will spot the strain and the effort of holding the rep, when instead, it should be almost a sense of relief as the bar and gravity lock the entire system into compression. But the top of a properly executed barbell press has a slightly different quality. Yeah, the entire system needs to be in compression. It has to be if the bar is to be held stably overhead, balanced over the shoulder joints and the midfoot. But the athlete performing a correct heavy press lockout will display nothing remotely approaching a look of relief. The situation is in both cases static, the system in compression, the force is balanced. And in both cases, isometric contractions of the leg and the core muscles keep the athlete from falling into a heap. But in the deadlift, the athlete must simply hold on to the bar, which is borne up by a properly configured skeleton with relatively little effort once the system has locked into compression. The bar just hangs there, supported by the tower of power. The press requires a more active lockout, but is strangely more forgiving of its absence. And that's the problem, perhaps your problem. See, it's common for me to see athletes put up a challenging press and lock it out strongly over the shoulders with a hard shrug and straight elbows for just an instant, and then relax with the bar overhead. The elbows flex slightly, the traps slacken a bit. The athlete relies on residual submaximal effort from the upper body musculature and the balanced position of the bar imposing compression to hold things in balance. So for a second or two at the top, with the bar high over his shoulders, the athlete squanders an opportunity to squeeze every last drop of training juice out of the exercise. a massive isometric contraction of the lion's share of the body's musculature. We try to correct this with the cue to shrug, reminding the athlete that the press is never complete, that he's never done shrugging it up, that he must stretch the barbell higher into the ceiling with his traps. But this cue grows stale for some lifters, and in any event, it may capture only the traps. Now, if and when the shrug cue grows stale, we need something else. The prescription for this malady is a simple mental image: the electrocution press. At the moment the bar locks out overhead, the athlete imagines that he has closed a circuit that forces a high voltage current through the body, causing every single damn muscle to lock into a ferocious, almost titanic contraction. Isometric effort becomes maximal. The quads, buttocks, abs, pecs, calves, traps, they all burn with the effort of squeezing and shrugging the bar up just a few more nanometers. And for those of you who do overhead Olympic work, the benefits of the electrocution lockout are even greater. Now, a lackluster press lockout is not entirely safe in theory and not to be tolerated, but I've never actually seen an overhead press dropped onto the body or the head. However, in the snatch and the jerk, a vicious shrug is absolutely essential to stabilize the bar overhead after its ballistic journey, because people do lose snatches and cleans. In some cases, hijinks ensue. So it's time to juice up your overhead press technique. The moment you lock out the press, visualize closing that circuit between the floor and the ceiling, and your body transmitting the juice. Locking out the press electrocutes you and forces every muscle into a maximal contraction for just about a second, and squeezes every bit of benefit out of the exercise. Rededicate yourself to a hard press lockout with full engagement of every muscle fiber. You'll improve your strength and balance, increase the manifold benefits of the exercise, and cultivate an overhead press lockout that is strong, safe, stable, and electrifyingly beautiful.